Welcome to Eco Family News on I'm Healthy Radio. I'm your host, Kathy Arnos, and want to thank you for joining us. Eco Family News is a news resource of Whole Children, Whole Planet, whose primary purpose is to introduce and educate people to the benefits of natural products, organic foods, sustainable living practices, holistic medicine, enrichment learning programs, and important health and environmental issues for protecting our children, ourselves, and the planet. We want to provide people with the tools necessary to make informed, educated decisions and to inspire you to take action, as each of us can make a difference. For more information about Eco Family News and Whole Children, Whole Planet, please visit www.ecofamilynews.com. Today on our show, we have three amazing women who are all experts in the field of pregnancy awareness and attachment parenting. Anna Getty, the founder of Pregnancy Awareness Month, and Barbara Nicholson and Lisa Parker, founders of Attachment Parenting International. Anna Getty has played many roles in her life, including actress, chef, yoga teacher, writer, environmental activist, holistic lifestyle expert, and, importantly, a mother. Today, Anna's passion as a prenatal yoga teacher has taken her in a new direction of childbirth education, and she has created Pregnancy Awareness Month, which takes place in May and is now in its second year. Thank you for joining us today, Anna.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
So, first of all, I'd just like to thank you so much for participating in both of the Whole Children, Whole Planet Expos. Just appreciate all that you do.
Oh, thank you. Likewise.
So I'm going to kind of back up a little bit, and I love your pre- and postnatal DVD yoga series for moms. And I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what inspired you to become a yoga teacher or even sparked your interest in yoga.
Wow. I mean, that dates back probably 10 or 12 years. I was pursuing my acting career, and I was looking for a stress-relieving tool, and I kept hearing about yoga and how great yoga is, and this is before the internet was super popular, so I was just driving around Los Angeles picking up yoga schedules at the different centers, but I never actually went. And then I was working in a catering kitchen at the time, and one of my bosses said, "Oh my gosh, you have to try Gurmuk's class. She's wonderful, she's inspiring." And sure enough, a few weeks later, I went to her house. She taught out of her house at the time, and I remember just crying and thinking, I'm home. And I really don't, I was doing it 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day. I went to Gurmuk. I went to India with Gurmuk. When it was time to open the center, I made a very small investment. I just wanted to be a part of it. Then I took the teacher training and worked at the center. I just fell in love with it, and it started to change not the yoga itself, but my commitment to a practice and learning more about meditation and connecting to spirit and to God, and really started to change my life. So then I quit acting. I wanted to be more of service, and I thought that yoga was a great way to be of service. I wanted people to feel as good as I did.
And then that led you into doing the pre- and postnatal DVDs?
Well, about 7 years later, I decided to, after getting married, I decided to do a kind of a conscious preconception plan for getting pregnant. I thought, well, gosh, I spent a year planning my wedding. I should probably spend a good 6 months to a year, preparing to have a baby. And so I did a lot of cleansing and colonics and acupuncture and homeopathy and, a lot of yoga and meditation. And I remember at the time there was a prenatal yoga teacher training about to start, and I thought this is probably, a great intention, and I didn't necessarily think, well, I'll teach. And then I loved it, and 3 weeks later I found myself pregnant, and Gurmukh looked at me and said, well, once the nausea subsides, I want you to come and teach. You know, this is perfect. You're pregnant, you just took the teacher training, and I just loved being with a pregnant woman, being of service, and it was just so beautiful. It transcended any other Kundalini teaching that I had done in the past. It just was a completely different thing. This was about creation and bringing life into the world. And
how synchronistic. I mean, it's so beautiful how Spirit just kind of guides our path in our life for us, you know?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So once my daughter was born, I went back to teaching about 8 months later, and Gurmukh said, do you want to teach a Kundalini class again? And I did for a couple months, but my heart just was not there. I really loved, so I just have continued with teaching the prenatal. And now I'm pregnant again, so it's great to be with them and teaching and really feeling where they're coming from.
And how old is your daughter?
She's almost 4.5.
Wow, they're our teachers, aren't they?
They really are. They really are. Children are, and pregnancy is, and birth is. It's all learning.
So then where did the idea I guess it's pretty obvious where the idea came for Pregnancy Awareness Month, but why don't you tell us, how that came into to be?
Well, at the time, I had my prenatal yoga DVD, and we were working on the postnatal. And, just over the last few years of teaching, I'm always surprised when women come into my classes and are just still so in the dark about what they're experiencing, what they will be experiencing, the information that they're given. And, I'm not a doctor or a medical expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I have learned a lot. And I'm always I just don't understand. I'm like, well, what's going on here? This is 2008, last year I was thinking, women should feel empowered as they move into giving birth and not so afraid and feeling so alone and feeling so confused.
Well, I also think that when we, as women become pregnant, a lot of our fears, just kind of surface. And it kind of takes us in different directions, where, when you feel like you have a spiritual base and then you get pregnant, suddenly you're responsible for somebody else as well.
Sure. I mean, the fears coming up are natural, but then I believe that it's my belief that the medical community feeds into that rather than helping them move in a I don't know, I don't want to say more progressive necessarily, but in a, guiding them to follow their intuition, because that's just not what it's about for them.
Right.
And understandably, it's solution oriented, it's, looking for problems and finding solutions to them, and most pregnancies are low risk and aren't medical.
Exactly.
But they become that way because, from the onset you're going to an OBGYN. And so it's really, the campaign is about bringing a lot of information to the table and then encouraging women, use your intuition, use your guidance, use your inner strength, and find what's right for you. I'm not going to tell you have to do X, Y, and Z. Here's what I believe. Here's all this wonderful information from respected professionals, and you decide. And I support you in your decision.
Exactly. And I think fear just comes from lack of knowledge. So once people start becoming educated, it's just so much more empowering that it gives them the option to make choices, that are true to their heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when a woman becomes pregnant, I feel that they're so open and so vulnerable. So all the information coming in is potentially stress making. Means, anything your mother tells you or your husband's mother tells you or your best friend or all of it coming in, you start to question and doubt and wonder.
Exactly. And everybody shows up with their opinion.
Completely.
And you have like 4 key initiatives that you really promote for the PAM.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell us a little bit about what each of them are and how you nurture them?
Well, there's education, nutrition, exercise, and then nurturing. And I just kind of thought about, what are key aspects that I found important during my pregnancy and what I find women are talking about during theirs. So that's how I came up with the 4. And education kind of encompasses everything from learning about, what kind of birth you want to have, to learning about vaccinations, to, learning about circumcision. It's really, it's all of those books that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then nutrition is really, I'm still so amazed how so many doctors, they still are saying it's okay to eat fish once or twice a week or whatever it is, and not even taking into account that all fish has, PCBs in it or mercury. And, my general practitioner forbids me to eat fish during my pregnancy. And of course, I can make my own choices ultimately, but he says no pregnant woman should be putting poison. If I give you a large jar of poison or a small jar of poison and say, which one do you want?
They're still both poison.
They're still both poison. So, ipso facto, no pregnant woman should be eating mercury, even if it's small amounts.
Exactly.
Find other. So there too, it's about getting it's education as well, but it's focusing on nutrition, on that component, and then exercise. Women are always coming to me saying, "Well, I've never done yoga before. Is it safe to begin when I'm pregnant? What else? What are the other options available to me?" And then nurturing, I truly believe, is important, because once you have a baby, it's so much more challenging to give yourself that extra TLC. But I do believe that our children learn how to nurture themselves, not just by the way we nurture them, but by the way we nurture ourselves.
Exactly.
So, a woman who's so stressed out and overworked and is, devoted to her children but doesn't even take a warm bath once a week and close the door, how are her children supposed to learn?
Exactly.
So, and it's, again, education. We are letting women know that, you can still wear makeup, but wear non-toxic makeup.
Oh, yeah.
So there's so many components to all of the 4 initiatives.
That really, you bring up such a great point, about using natural products, especially when you're pregnant and then when you have the kids, and putting, what's in them, on them, and around them is so important. I know that you're also very involved with Healthy Child, Healthy World. Yes,
I've been on the board for 3 years.
Yeah, and the work that's being done in that area is just amazing. And again, I'm always amazed at how many people are not aware that a lot of these products have cancer-causing chemicals in them.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. And what's worse is if you have a hospital birth and they give you this little, not all of them, but many of them give you this little take-home kit, that has diaper cream and baby bath shampoo or baby bubble bath, baby lotion, a diaper, and they're all completely filled with chemicals. And this is what the medical community is, sending home. Your trusted medical community is sending home with you. It's unbelievable.
It really is. It's but here we are, and we're blazing the trails. We're trying to get out there and educate people and really give them a better understanding for why they want to do certain things. And, like you're saying, we need to be really good role models. If we want to raise really conscious, aware children, that's how we will do it, is being that person ourselves, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the nutrition, nutrition is really important to you too. I know that you've become very involved with cooking, and you have a book that will be coming out next year as well, don't you?
Yeah, I have two books. I have the Eco Christmas book, which comes out in November, and that has 26 recipes. And then in the spring, next spring, I have Anna Getty's Easy Green Organic, which isn't, necessarily mother and family focused, but it's absolutely, it's for everybody, but it's simple, so I think a lot of mothers will be using it because there's so many simple, tasty recipes. I tested many of them out on my daughter, and then there's 2 chapters on, how to green your kitchen and how to really learn about organic food and what to look out for and how to do it on a budget. And I think that organic food is so important for a healthy, happy family.
Absolutely. Well, this is your second year of Pregnancy Awareness Month, and you're having it in May?
Mm-hmm. It's every May, and we always, last year we had a kickoff event at the Skirball Center. This year it's in Santa Monica at the Little Dolphin School. It's on May 2nd, and it's from 10 to 2:30. I think it's going to be a lot of fun this year because it's on a weekend, so we're encouraging families to come out, and there's going to be children's activities. Jeremy and Renee, who do children's music, and a music room for kids, and a mommy lounge spa, and maternity fashion show sponsored by P and the Pod. Some wonderful panels and organic food. So
let's talk about who's going to be on your panels this year.
Okay. So there's 2 panels. There is Raising Healthy Children in a Toxic World, and Christopher Gavigan from Healthy Child, Healthy World is on it, and as well as Dr. Alan Green, who's a very respected, incredible pediatrician, friend of mine, author of From First Kicks to First Steps, and very passionate about organic food. And even though he's a pediatrician, he's very, very active in getting pregnant women to eat organic food and to take care of themselves. And I believe he's writing a book right now about that as well.
And doesn't he also have, his website is drgreen.com?
drgreen.com, and there's an E at the end of green.
Okay. And let's talk, why don't you give your websites right now, too, as long as we're talking about websites.
Okay, well, there's pregnancy-awareness-month.com, and then AnnaGetty.com.
And Anna Getty is spelled ANNAGETTY.
And then I will be on that panel as well. And Kim Walls, who is, her father's the founder of Epicurean, and they've just recently launched a baby line, a very, very clean, beautiful baby line with Ann Getty's doing the photography. So the boxes are gorgeous, too.
I've seen them, actually. Kim's a friend as well, so I'm
great.
Really excited for her.
Great.
Well, that sounds like a great panel. Is there others on there?
There's the 4 of us, and then a representative from Seventh Generation will be doing the moderating. And then the second panel is things you need to know from conception through infancy. So it's kind of broad, but there's 4 different experts and midwife, Debbie Frank, an OBGYN who is not necessarily, I don't know so much, I believe his name is Dr. Bider, Bider, and he's opening up a birthing center, and he's very supportive of holistic birth.
Oh, nice.
And Lisa Druxman, of course, who's from Stroller Strides.
The exercise for mommy.
Yeah, and they've just launched a new program called Fit for Baby, and it's a prenatal program.
Oh, great.
And Elisa Donner, who's the co-founder of Pam with me, is moderating. My pregnancy brain is not allowing me.
Is Ricky Lake going to be on that one?
Yes. But there's somebody else.
Kelly Rutherford?
No, Kelly Rutherford is a host. She's one of the hosts, in addition to Josie Marin. And Kelly's 28 or 29 weeks pregnant with her second baby.
Oh, so this is really going to be a pregnancy day.
Yes. Well, hopefully, we're reaching out to some other celebrities who I can't mention yet who are pregnant, and I think there's going to be a lot of pregnant moms there. Last year there were. We were really happy, and we're in a couple of weeks we're going to be distributing flyers all over the greater LA area, and definitely to all the maternity stores and
who are some of your sponsors? I know you have some great sponsors as well.
Seventh Generation is our title sponsor, again, for the second year as well, which is wonderful. Luna as well. Epicurean, Newborn Free baby bottles. Moby Wrap again. Pregnancy Magazine is a sponsor, our media sponsor, which we're very excited about. Last year we worked with Cookie, who I just absolutely adore, but I felt that it was really important to partner with Pregnancy Magazine and not just a parenting magazine, And Hot Moms Club is supporting us as well. Everyone's really excited about this campaign, I think, because it has such a positive and celebratory message.
Oh, and it's again, empowering. That's the biggest word that I can use for this. Education is just so key to providing the information to women and families in general.
Absolutely. I mean, I really see it more than anything. I love to read the different reviews that people have written on Amazon.com and around the internet on my DVD, and how it helped them so much during their pregnancy and during their birth experience, and how just starting the yoga actually opened their mind to so many other options. And when I sit with the women in my class, we just talk together, and they're all so excited and hungry and get so inspired when there's just an open dialogue and exploration.
Now, is Ricky Lake going to be talking about the business of being born?
Well, she has a book coming out in the month of May as well, which I believe is called Your Better Birth. And I think most of her focus will be on the book. And I think it's the next step after the film.
The film is just amazing.
I've seen it 3 times.
It just really offers anybody who is thinking about getting pregnant or who is pregnant just such a great overview.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that, it has a surprise ending, which of course I won't mention because I want people to see the film.
Yes.
But it kind of... It's so open-ended, and it really, it gives all the different options with a lot of, she's very passionate about home birth, but, the ending that it has kind of makes you go, wow, thank God for the medical world.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's where their place is. I believe that the medical industry really does have a place for life-saving measures, and I think that when we hold them in that thought and respect their knowledge in that area, we're doing a great service, because they do have their place in time. And the rest of but the majority of the time is more about what we can do for ourselves through our choices.
Yeah.
And you also have a great sweepstakes that people can enter online for it's called Mom's Essentials Giveaway.
Yes.
And so people need to go to the website and sign up for the Pam newsletter in order to enter.
Yes.
Great.
And I think not only are you having the possibility to win some great things. But the newsletters you'll be getting are going to be filled with a lot of really solid information, and that'll be useful.
That's great. Well, our newsletter just went out this week.
I saw it. I read it this morning. It's great.
Oh, thank you. So just to quickly recap, Pam will kick off this year with a free lifestyle event called Motherhood Begins Now. It will take place at the Little Dolphin School in Santa Monica, California on Saturday, May 2nd from 10 to 2:30 p.m. For more information on the event, please visit pregnanCyawarenessmonth.com or AnnaGetty.com. So thanks for joining us, Anna.
You're welcome.
You've been listening to Anna Getty on EcoFamily News. I'm your host, Kathy Arnos, and we will be right back after a short break with our next two guests, Barbara Nicholson and Lisa Parker, the founders of Attachment Parenting International.